Stories and adventures of Vikings are commonplace in pop culture. Unsurprisingly, LEGO capitalized on this with their early 2000s LEGO Vikings line, consisting of 5 sets in 2005 and 3 more sets released in 2006. This line was short-lived, but became a fan favorite due to its depictions of Norse mythology and mighty Technic beasts. Today, myself, Brayden from Brotante's Game Room, and Adam from Adam Bricks have teamed up to fully explore this line, including the lore, commercials, products, sets, and minifigures. This theme was voted on by our subscribers and will mark our last retrospective for this season. Stay tuned until the end of the video to hear our personal opinions on our favorite sets and where this line will fall on our LEGO Retrospectives tier list. Without further ado, Adam Bricks will tell us the story of LEGO Vikings.
In the cold and barren lands of Northern Europe, there exists a fierce group of individuals who rule over the land with might and strength, pillaging and questing in the deep, dark seas of the north, causing carnage and chaos. Tales of elusive sea serpents and large wolf-like creatures large enough to make even the strongest of Vikings feel afraid, as we can see through the eyes of the LEGO developers when they created the amazingly well-aged models for creatures such as the Fenrir. Join us as we take a look at LEGO's fascinating take on a culture rich of gods, creatures, and fearless men. Travel back in time with us through the LEGO timeline as we explore the sets and what they were inspired by through real-world events. Now, let's take a look at this underrated gem of LEGO's golden era and secure your place of Valhalla amongst your Nordic brothers. Let's start by taking a look at the commercials and advertising for this theme.
Vikings are under attack. The enormous power of the monster can capsize the ship, but the brave Vikings make ready for battle. With their monster cannon, join the valiant LEGO Vikings in their fight against the monsters in the fog.
Welcome to the commercials and products section of the retrospective. As just seen, that was the commercial used to advertise this theme on TV. By far my favorite commercial so far. The way the sea serpent jumps out of the water at the start really sets the tone for the epic battles this line puts on display. Vikings versus these giant Technic beasts is showcased in almost every set, and this commercial does a great job of highlighting that theme while not giving too much away. Moving on to the products, we have some pretty unique stuff this time around. Up first is this supposed first LEGO Viking ship model. This would predate the Viking line by many years. There is not a lot of information available on it, but I did find a webpage that states this was built for an exhibition in the 1960s. I couldn't find any information to cross-reference this, so take it with a grain of salt. Next up, like every line that we've done a retrospective on before it, we have some keychains. You'll have to excuse us for the quality of this picture, but this is the best picture we could find for the LEGO Vikings store display. Despite this extremely low resolution picture that looks like it was taken on a DSi, we can clearly make out that this is set 7018, Viking ship challenges the Midgard Serpent. I like how it is set up to display that awesome Technic sea serpent. Next up is some promotional items. First up is this jerkin with belt, and this is a Vikings promotional cape. We also have some promotional cups, this stunning banner that would make for an awesome display piece in any game room, this Vikings helmet made for kids, and the sword and shield. The last thing we were able to find was the Vikings River Splash Ride, which was opened August 18th, 2007 at the Legoland Windsor Resort. It seems like this was operational for a while, but it's closed now with plans to have it replaced. Take a look at this footage from the ride. And that concludes the product section. In the next section, we'll take a look at the sets for this line. The first set we're looking at today is 7015, Viking Warrior Challenges the Fenris Wolf. This set consists of 69 pieces and 1 minifigure. Last year, I was fortunate enough to actually get this one for my collection. We'll start by talking about the actual wolf build. So they did some really amazing stuff here with the Technic pieces to build this beast. If you look very closely, its limbs are actually made out of the skeleton arm pieces. Great use of pieces there. You get one minifigure with the set, and it's a good one as well. The only thing I would really change about the set is instead of having that weird round circle thing the minifigure has, I believe it's a shield. Instead of having that, maybe replacing one of the minifigure's weapons with one of the Viking shields. I think that would have really taken the set to the next level. All around, not a bad small little build.
Okay everybody, so I'm going to be taking a look at the Viking boat against the Wyvern Dragon, set number 7016. This set comes with 2 minifigures and 99 pieces. And I have to say, for such a small piece count, it looks really good. I also really like the Viking shield on the side of this small boat. I like the different patterns and small details on them, and I just think it's a really nice touch for this set. And for a set with so few pieces, as I said before, I like the detail on this and I think it looks really good. The build for the Wyvern Dragon looks really nice as well. I like the blue coloring on the wings. They actually use plastic pieces for the wings, and I think that was a really nice touch. As with the rest of this line, the Technic monsters seem to have aged very well, especially with using so few pieces. Besides that, there isn't too much detail to write home about for this set, but it's very simple and it gets the job done.
So next up is 7017 Viking Catapult versus the Nidhogg Dragon. This set consisted of 213 pieces and 2 minifigures. Just like the last one I covered, I'm going to start with the Technic Beast, and just look at this thing. This dragon is a combination of Technic pieces, as we've been saying all along, as well as some pieces you traditionally see in Bionicles. These are combined beautifully to create a rather large beast. It's bigger than the catapult. The scale of the Technic beasts really helps sell the sets. To me, the catapult part of the set is weaker compared to the dragon. It does have some play features to shoot projectiles, and it looks fine. The dragon is the highlight though. The Viking shield on the front is a great touch.
The next set we're going to be taking a look at is set number 7018, Viking Ship Challenges the Midgard Serpent. Now I actually have this set. I remember getting this back in Christmas of 2005 from my grandparents, and I absolutely love this set. From the beautiful sails all the way over to the amazing Technic monster, this set is a complete masterpiece. The set comes with 543 pieces and 6 minifigures. The bulk of the Vikings included in the set are just generic Vikings. However, the main standout for this set is definitely the main Viking warrior here with the red torso. The actual build itself for the Viking ship is absolutely beautiful. I love the sails that they use in this set with the Vikings insignia especially. And as I mentioned on the previous set I covered, the Viking shields on the side of these boats look really nice. The small details in the patterns on these shields look really nice as well. And the little dragon head at the top of the build looks really nice too. There is also a small catapult build on the boat, which looks good. And this is what the Vikings are using to fight the sea serpent, which, speaking of a sea serpent, the set includes a Technic sea serpent. And as mentioned previously by both me and Braden, the Technic beasts in this line work really well. Especially for the time, as I mentioned earlier, I think these aged really well. There's also some other nice small details like this furnace for cooking chicken. As you can see, you can rotate the 2 chicken legs that are on this, and that's what our Viking heroes will be eating as they attack the sea serpent. Overall, I do think this set aged really well, and it's definitely my personal favorite from this line.
Next up is 7019 Viking Fortress against the Fafnir Dragon. And holy, just look at this thing, I don't know where to start with it. The set consisted of 979 pieces and 6 minifigures. You get 2 Technic beasts in this set, we'll go over those first. First, this little black dragon that I've never noticed before. I really like this little build. The translucent red wings are amazing. The only thing that I don't really like is his head. It looks kind of strange. Other than that, a great little dragon. On to the big green dragon. So far, this is my favorite Technic beast by far. Great use of pieces to really give this dragon good size, which scales very well with the fortress. Like all previous dragons, the wings are plastic, which is also a nice touch. Because of how the joints are set up on this dragon, it's very easily posable, so you can set it up how you'd like in the scene that you're creating. And the dark forest green and dark red coloring is awesome. Onto the fortress now. If you've ever seen Fort Legoredo, you can make some comparisons with this set to that one. The biggest standout for the fort is the Viking shields on the walls. the torches with the fire on them, and the 3 catapults used as the defense mechanism against the dragon. There is also a small cage and big doors that you can open and close as needed. The box art showing the fort on a seaside cliff is awesome as well. With the size of the fort, you could also put some of your own custom builds inside that are relevant to the Vikings line. Overall, another awesome set in this line that does everything perfect from the Technic Beast to the scale of the set. Everything is sized perfectly and looks exactly as it should. Awesome set.
Next up is set number 7020, Army of Vikings with Heavy Artillery Wagon. Yeah, that's a mouthful. And as you can tell, the focal point for this set is certainly that it comes with 7 different minifigures. It also comes with 270 parts. But in reality, back in 2006, you would be buying this set certainly for the minifigures. The build for the Heavy Artillery Wagon is really good though. As you can see, it uses some pieces that look like they're from Fantasy Era as well, and it looks like there's a Technic function that allows you to shoot torpedoes at your enemies. And I must say, the Heavy Artillery Wagon is quite menacing. We can see that through the different building techniques such as spikes coming out of the wheels and spears being set up all throughout this build. And the way that this set is set up, it looks like our Vikings are ready to charge into battle. Like some of the previous sets, you also get some really beautiful shields in this set. Some of them are reused, but nonetheless they look fantastic. Overall, this is a really nice set and will make a fine addition to anyone's LEGO collection.
Okay guys, so the next set is 7021, Viking Double Catapult versus the Armored Ofnir Dragon. This set has 487 pieces and 3 minifigures. And wow, this dragon is big! I didn't realize until I had this picture up with the minifigure on the chain with the dragon, and the scale of this thing. That's what we're going to start with, is the dragon. This is the biggest Technic Beast of the line. It has 4 wings instead of the normal 2. It has a great silver, blue, and a little bit of yellow color scheme. The silver is obviously its armor, the blue is its skin, and the yellow is on the wings. I would love to see this creature next to the fort or next to the boat. The standout pieces are obviously the wings, but also the 54273 Bionicle head, the silver piece of the dragon's head. It only appears in this set in 2 Bionicle sets, both of which I actually have. Moving on from what I'll nickname the King of the Dragons of the Vikings line, the Vikings need quite a weapon to compete with such a beast, and they do get it in this set. The double catapult is unique, and the size of the catapult makes sense when dealing with a beast like this. The use of horns, spears, the big wheels, and some printed pieces make this an awesome looking catapult. Probably the best in the line. The one thing that I don't like about this set is the box art, and the only reason for that is it makes the Viking minifigures look a little bit bigger than they actually are when in comparison to the catapult and this massive dragon.
Okay, so this is the final official set for the Vikings line, and what a way to end the line with a chess set. Coming with just 60 parts and 24 minifigures, this set is beautiful. If you're a chess fan like myself and Braden, you'll definitely appreciate this. There isn't much to say about this besides the fact that it comes with a pile of minifigures. There are a few exclusive minifigures for this set, such as the Queens, but the rest have already been seen in previous sets. Now, there's also 3 separate sets that are not technically directly part of the Vikings line, but we're going to discuss them. The first set would be the 3-in-1 Viking ship in the Midgard Serpent. This is a very new set. It was released back in 2022, and it has 1,170 pieces and 4 minifigures. And it looks like this set was inspired by the original Viking ship that we got back in the line in 2005. Unfortunately for this one, they use a brick-built sail instead of a cloth, which I prefer the cloth sails personally, but it still gets the job done and looks really good, I think. One thing I do really like about this set is the use of colors. As we can see with the Serpent, there's a aqua and purple color scheme going for it. And I think the build for the Serpent looks really nice too. Technically it is a better build than the original 2005 version, however I like the charm and the simplicity of the original one better, even if this one has a lot more detail. The minifigures are pretty nice too, nothing to write home about, and the build for the boat is completely brick built. Unlike previous boats we've seen in the Vikings lines, this one does not use any hulls, and the shields are also brick built in this set. That being said, I do think there's a lot of nice detail in this, such as the catapult and the dragon head at the top of the boat. There's also a small build for a cow, I guess. I'm not really sure what this is, but I don't really like this one very much. I think it looks very goofy and it's a little bit out of place compared to the rest of the set and the detail that they showed. That being said, this is a great set and a nice nod back to the original 2005 set.
The next one we wanted to mention that is not part of the Vikings line officially is the Viking ship polybag number 11978. It comes with 48 pieces and no minifigures. I don't have a lot to say about this one because it is a very small build. It came with the LEGO Explorer magazine. You do get some nice pieces here though, such as the gold dragon heads and the sail. Now the final set we thought was worth mentioning with the Vikings line. Again, this one's not part of the Vikings line. We just figured it would fit with this video. That would be the Viking Village LEGO Ideas set number 21343. This set came with 2,801 pieces and 4 minifigures. Now I actually got and built this set earlier this year, and wow, was it ever a good set. There are so many tiny little details such as snow, ice, different printed pieces everywhere. It's modular, so you can take off the roofs and look inside the buildings, which are fully detailed and look beautiful. All 4 of the Vikings are unique and fill a specific role for the village. And the set is just full of detail from whatever angle you look at it. There's greenery scattered throughout, as well as the printed pieces, and other special pieces such as shields and the fish piece. One of my favorite parts of the build is the bridge that goes from the tower to the archer's lookout. This set absolutely does enough to stand on its own as a LEGO Ideas set. The only thing that seems to be missing is some sort of conflict, so whether that's a Technic beast or some sort of enemy force invading, there's no conflict here. That doesn't necessarily make it better or worse, it's just something to note. Overall, an absolutely beautiful set. And with that, that concludes the set part of the retrospective. Again, the last 3 were not a part of the official Vikings line. They just happened to fit in with the theme, so definitely worth mentioning when we're doing a full retrospective. On to the minifigures. Welcome to the minifigure section. The Vikings line has 37 unique minifigures, mostly thanks to the chess set. This 37 figure count comes from Bricklink, and it includes the 8 sets from the original Vikings line and the 3-in-1 set, 31132. The Viking Village minifigures are listed separately. I'm not sure why it's set up this way on Bricklink, but that's the list we're going to follow. Let's talk about the 37 in the original line first, then we'll touch on the 4 from the Viking Village after. The first thing we have to mention about these figures is their torsos. Not a single one of these is a miss. They all look great and are very convincing for Vikings. A fun fact is the torso that's being shown on screen now is also used by many of the fantasy era dwarves. Prices for these figures range from $5 to about a maximum of $25. The most expensive being the Viking Red Chess Queen at an average of $25.53 at the time of this video. The head printing for all of the minifigures is also awesome for every figure in the line. The helmets for the Viking figures are great as well. The only thing that I would mention is they all use the same white pieces for the horns. They could have changed that up a little bit for some of them. There is no leg printing for any of the figures in this line, but that's very normal for early 2000 lines. I also find the lack of beard pieces being used strange. There's only one figure out of all of these 37 that uses it, and it was one of the figures in the 3-in-1 set. Generally, when you see Vikings, they have beards, so I think that was a bit of a miss. But again, a small complaint. Here are a few of our favorite figures. Next up, we just wanted to touch very briefly on the figures from the Viking Village LEGO Ideas set. These figures are a great example of how a modern day Vikings line would look. They all sport great torso and leg printings as well as great heads. Instead of being generic Viking figures, they look like they could be specific named characters. They're all very unique and all 4 are great figures. If you like the torsos and the leg printings for these 4 figures, they're all available on the Pick-a-Brick store, so pick some up before they are out of stock. And the 3-in-1 minifigure torsos are also available on Pick-a-Brick, so pick some of those up if you'd like them as well. And lastly, here are some collectible minifigures that are Viking related. Next up, Adam's going to tell you about his favorite sets for this line.
Okay guys, so I'm going to be discussing my favorite sets of the line. The first set I would have to choose would be set number 7016, Viking Boat against the Wyvern Dragon. So I'm choosing this set for reasons I've already discussed, but I really like how simple this is and how few pieces are used. There's only 99 pieces and this set does really well to detail a very small boat. And I really like that Technic Dragon build as well. I also really like the shields used here, and I just think this is overall a really well balanced set for how few pieces are involved. The other set I want to mention that I really like would be set number 7018, Viking Ship Challenges the Midgard Serpent. Obviously I'm going to be a bit biased towards this set. As I mentioned earlier, this was one of the first big sets I ever got, and one I got for Christmas back in 2005. But bias aside, this is easily one of the best sets of the line, and a really nice ship, especially for the year that it was released in. And like most other sets throughout this theme, I really like the Technic builds, and the Sea Serpent involved in this set does not fail to disappoint us. I also really like the use of the cloth sail on this set. It's something that LEGO has strayed away from in modern day, but back in the day this was very common to see, and I really like it. It adds a really nice charm to this set. So yeah guys, those would be my two sets that I would pick. I'm going to throw it back over to Braden. He's going to discuss his favorites.
My first favorite set is 7019, Viking Fortress against the Fafnir Dragon, for the reasons I mentioned in the sets section of the retrospective, as well as the Green Dragon, the Technic Beast of this set, being the second best one in the line in my opinion. You get a great collection of minifigures in this set, you get the printed shields, you get 3 play mechanics with the 3 catapults. This is all around an amazing set and makes for an excellent centerpiece of the line. While I think the Viking Ship Challenges the Midgard Serpent 7018 is the most iconic set of the line, just because it's a ship and we're talking about Vikings, I think that 7021, the Viking Double Catapult versus the Armored Fafnir Dragon, takes my second spot for my second favorite set of this line. And there's a few reasons for that. So number one, I think the dragon in this set is the best Technic beast in the entire line, in my opinion. The scale of this beast is huge. It's like Godzilla size. Well, not quite, but it's quite big. And the size of the catapult is also massive. The use of larger pieces for the armor of the dragon and the detailing on the catapult are just awesome. Again, great use of pieces, 3 great minifigures, and an awesome Technic beast. What's not to love about this set? It's definitely one of my favorite sets of this line. There you have it, folks. Our LEGO Vikings retrospective. All in all, this is an amazing line that consisted of great figures and unreal Technic beasts that aged beautifully. A year later, the Fantasy Era castle theme came out, which seemed to be heavily inspired by this Vikings line. You could almost call the Vikings Fantasy Era on water, or a perfect combination of a pirates and castle theme. Assigning Vikings a tier on our LEGO retrospective tier list was a difficult task. We talked at length and came to the conclusion that it should be high B tier, by far the strongest theme we have looked at so far. Again, this tier list is subject to change, so don't be surprised as some themes move as we do more and more retrospectives. We just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of those who have supported this series so far. It has been an awesome adventure, and we appreciate the support as we hone our editing and narration skills. If you liked the video, give it a like. Make sure to leave a comment and let us know what your favorite set was, and if you learned anything today while listening to this retrospective. If you have any suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video so you don't miss the next one. We aren't revealing the next theme we will be covering, but just know it's a spooky one. Thanks again for the support, and have a great day.